Well, when you use zip ties to hog-tie children, when you disappear them in the middle of the night, put Black people in one U-Haul, Latinos in another U-Haul, in a building that I used to call home because that place that got raided was actually my old apartment complex in the city of Chicago in South Shore. I think that it is disgusting to watch what is happening, the level of fear tactics, the level of overreach from this administration, in addition to not acknowledging that right now in the city of Chicago, when we talk about just now leaving the summer, homicides are at their lowest rate since 1965. And just so you understand that time frame, my own mother was born in 1963 on the south side of Chicago. So we have to be very real about why this area is being targeted. The people that are being targeted in large part aren't even undocumented. There are several Black residents and several Latino residents of the city of Chicago who are not undocumented, who were also detained. This becomes very real and very scary. The militarization of one of America's crown jewels in terms of its city is, I think, something that is hard to come back from. And we know that this administration is going out of its way to showcase power, but moreover, to try to bring cities like Chicago to their knees and to normalize the weaponization of the military against American citizens. That's a real problem and something we should all be paying attention to.
So, Gov, you see it differently. Obviously, if Ameshia were right, you would share those concerns. So why don't you think she has the right analysis?
Well, to begin with, President Trump was elected on a mandate by the people to secure our borders and to fix the illegal migrant problem in America. 14 million illegal immigrants have come to America, and the best estimates suggest that 7 to 10% of them are criminals, many of them violent criminals, rapists, murderers, gangsters. And the President of the United States was given a mandate by the people on that issue, is largely elected on that issue, and he's trying to carry it out. And the responsibility of the governor, irrespective of his party, and the mayor, irrespective of his party, is to follow the law, whether you agree with it or not, and to assist if you can, but certainly not to resist. Now, I would point out to Ameshia and to you, Chris, and to me as the first Democratic governor to endorse Obama, that Obama deported 3 million people when he was president. They called him the deporter-in-chief. And the same Democrats that are making noise now weren't criticizing him back then, nor were they against the border wall back then. Pardon me?
How matters? Look, Democrats screwed up about the southern border. They made the wall into something that it wasn't. They were lax, they were lazy, and they have paid for it. Now, how still matters. Obama is not a good apples to apples because it took him 3 times the time that we have had so far because they did it through due process. So I'm not saying that deporting is right or wrong. How you do it matters. What Ameshia is talking about, what you're seeing in your hometown, is that the how that you want in America?
Well, I'm not in love with the how, but I don't know that he has any other choice because he's getting resistance from the Democratic governor, the Democratic mayor, in not just Chicago, but in other places as well. When Obama was president, he was deporting millions of people, and Rahm Emanuel was the mayor. Rahm Emanuel wasn't standing in his way. There weren't sanctuary cities. They weren't trying to thwart the efforts of the president to do his job as he's required to do. And as much as there is a real, legitimate humanitarian issue involved with most of the people that came here illegally, and it's understandable that we have compassion for them, there still is this obligation to follow the law. And the law is that millions came to our country illegally. The president said he would fix this problem, and the American people elected him to do just that.
So, Ameshia, if you were magically put in charge of enforcing this law, and you knew that this was a big reason you got elected, what would you be doing differently?
I think that there is a way to enforce the laws on the books when it comes to undocumented immigration. There are ways to enforce immigration reform that do not include the level of violence, the level of invocation of violence that we're seeing from this administration. And as somebody who voted for, and whose family voted for former Governor Blagojevich, I would like to recall in 2005 where this governor actually passed executive orders, wrote executive orders, signed them, that were welcoming to immigrants, specifically to the state of Illinois, specifically to the city of Chicago, and that actually approved of certain centers to make sure that they had the opportunity that was allowed for all Chicagoans. It was something that was supported by him at that time and something that he went on several campaigns to talk about. And also that this is a former governor who was granted a commutation from the sitting president of the United States, Donald Trump. We have to be very real about what's happening in the streets right now. And this has nothing to do with immigration reform as much as it has everything to do with militarizing American streets.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.